Damn it, Dale, did you even find out if those wheels were from Japan or China?
I believe she said Japan, Hank.
Are you sure?
Great.
We'll go with that one.
All right, next theory. Who's heard of Scooby-Doo? That's even better. Slowly building up.
A bunch of illicit teenagers running around in a pot van. That sounds
That's
great.
exactly right. Why would these teenagers just be roaming the backwoods across the country, not getting their degrees, studying up, and just being kind of like off to the wind? I know why. Scooby-Doo was a super intelligent subject bred for the Soviet space program. Now I know what you're thinking. That makes perfect sense. But let's explore the evidence. First, fact. Scooby's first episode takes place almost exactly 2 months after America faked their moon landing. By then, the Soviet Space Agency had been going strong for years. Fact! The Soviets had a space history with dogs. They launched dogs up into space. Dogs were the first Earth-born creatures to be sent into space and return alive.
Those were merely dogs trying to flee communism.
That's what I believe. So, what I'm trying to say is, the Soviets also looked into an experimental breeding program that could have produced dogs with greatly enhanced intelligence. Why do you think they would do that? Because we need dogs that can operate space consoles. It sounds obvious, but the super intelligent animals could potentially have been a great asset to the Soviet Space Agency. Why risk the life of trained Soviet astronauts if you could send up dogs in test flights that could actually record data, operate consoles, and understand complex commands over the radio? Open your eyes, sheeple! Oh boy, this is going to be harder than I thought. This makes sense. Humanity tends to use animals who are seen lesser than humans to explore situations with a high chance of fatality. Anyway, in the course of the secret breeding program, I'm thinking Soviets unintentionally gave birth to at least one dog who was smart enough to learn and imitate human speech. We with me so far?
This is what happens when Dale watches too much PBS.
Yep. Public broadcasting system, more like public broadcasting system. So, how did Scooby-Doo get from Russia to America, I heard someone ask. Scooby started his life as a subject in the Space Agency's breeding program, but it is believed that he escaped when one of the scientists bonded with this puppy, and he tried to take him to America to save him from the Russian space program. What happened then is he had to hide out, so he goes up into the woods and gets himself a castle and hides out, creates this specter of a ghost to keep anyone from trying to explore his castle, leading a small group of teenagers to explore this mystery. In this castle, they also find a puppy known as Scooby-Doo. And if you're still not convinced, this is one more piece of evidence. Scooby-Doo is in fact a German name. You might correctly go, Dale. Why would a Russian space dog be named after a German dog? Good question. I probably don't have an answer for that. Yes, I do. Because the Russian Soviet space program employed German physicists following World War II, escaping the nation. So one of these German physicists took his Great Danes, also a German dog, to the Russian space program, gave birth to Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo was then taught in this breeding program to learn human speech. He was sent to America by that scientist, found by the Scooby Gang, who now have to protect him. That's why they roam in their van. Because the CIA is looking for him. The show isn't called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Because the kids can't find him. It's called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Because the CIA can't find him.
Now, sadly, all of us have lost several IQ points from this speech.
It's all right, IQ is also a conspiracy. It's part of a mission to get people to judge each other off of numbers. And once you're judged by a number for your intelligence, you're fine being called by a number when you're part of the government slave program.
I have a theory now.
Hit me.
I think the fact that you believe that Scooby-Doo, actually that the Russians were using dogs not only to increase their intelligence, but to also breed. Part of me is not believing that they used Scooby-Doo and some poor woman in a bizarre incident to actually make you.
Rude.
Well, think of it.
Headcanon not, do I have pause? He is referring obviously to the Mole Man incident that we've had throughout Arlen the last 15 years. And you might go, but I haven't seen any Mole Man in Arlen in the last 15 years. You're welcome.
So why won't you show your eyes?
Why won't I show my eyes? We've talked about this. The future's too bright. Gotta wear shades.
What if you're
You think I'm a Mole Man? You're asking the right questions. But ask me a question that only a person would know.
What's better, cake or pie?
Cake.
That's a lie, that's actually a trick question. It should be a medium steak.
Hank knows. I'm starting to think she's a mole person because she's awful quick to accuse other people of being mole people, and yet she can't even ask a basic human question to identify another mole person or human. We're watching you.
This guy's been very patient.
Yes, he has.
You haven't taken it high enough. Scooby escaped. Why do you think we have PETA?
PETA and Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo founded PETA so that way he could get the treatment of ethical animals.
Yes!
That's exactly it, and all he knows is the violent propaganda tactics of the Soviet Russians, and that's why he employs them as a PETA operative. Well done. Headcanon accepted. Alright, we're going to talk about another thing real quick that affects you at your cons. Have you seen any booths with prize wheels? There was one yesterday, correct?
Yes.
And is there always a line for the prize wheel, and there's always people trying to get you to spin the prize wheel? Sounds like a lot of fun, right? Just go up, free, spin the prize, you're good to go.
I
Not a
don't
good
trust
thing.
anything that doesn't give you.
That's exactly right. Slowly but surely, there's a cult trying to make prize wheels your god. Much like a god, you can pray to it, and it gives randomly to those nearby. We know who started the prize wheel epidemic, and he goes by the name of Bob Barker. Bob Barker was the host of The Price is Right, and he was a prize wheel man. You might ask, why does Bob Barker invest in the prize wheels? Because he was actually part of his own cult himself, a cult that wanted us to be comfortable with spaying and neutering, and not just our pets, but any undesirable members of our society, until Bob Barker found the price is not only right, but the people are also always right thanks to this. So if you spin a prize wheel and you find yourself enjoying it, remember you're contributing to the spay and neutering of the human race.
Sometimes that's preferable.
Wow, all right. I'm watching you too. See, I believe that the government is actually in this room as we speak. We probably have several agents. We might weed them out as we go. But I would also like to point out that they're recording everything that happens in this conversation. And you might say, Dale, how could they do that? Hidden microphones. I can count at least 3 microphones in this room as we speak. 1 in the exit sign, 1 in this railing, and that person's actually a microphone. That's just the ones I've identified so far. So remember, everything you say could be and will be used by the government against you.
Why would they need to hide microphones when you're speaking into one?
Damn it, Dale.
How long has this been here?
I walked in here thinking you might be okay, but you're still not right.
That's terrifying. The government's getting better and better. All right.
Stop using it!
He was the same way when Netflix came out.
It's rough life. All right, let's talk about the Titanic, both the real incident and the documentary about the boy who went back in time to ensure that the Titanic sank. Jack, is he a hot boy or is he a hot time traveling boy? Raise your hand if you think he's just hot. Raise your hand if you know he's a time traveling hot boy. All right, I'll get all of you by the end of this.
There's no judgment.
The documentary starts with watching Jack hustle to get some money to get his Titanic ticket. Why would he need to do that? Because he's just landed in the time period and all of his 1990s money is no good here. So he's got to gamble and work his way up to make the coin of the age. I know what you're thinking.
That the boat wouldn't have sank had they made it in America?
That is also true, Hank. And you know what? You might go, that's a bit of a stretch. What if he's just poor? Sheep. But if you believe that, how about the moment when Jack claims to have gone fishing at Lake Wissota? That's a perfectly romantic and reasonable thing, except that Lake Wissota is a man-made Wisconsin lake that wasn't made until 1917, 5 years after the Titanic sank. So we already know he's not from this particular time. This is further reinforced when Jack tells Rose that he wants to take her to the Santa Monica Pier where they'll ride the roller coaster until they throw up. Swoon. But that's a problem. Why? There was no roller coaster on the Santa Monica Pier in 1912. It didn't get built until 1916. Are you feeling the goosebumps yet? Meanwhile, we saw that dreamy hair he wore. We're trying to identify. We know he's not from 1912. What decade is he from? Who's got votes? What do you think?
I'm thinking Dave's
Yes.
probably going to go into talking about lizard people.
2050.
2050. Good guess. I like it. Good job. What else? 2050. 2050. All right. 2050 is the winner. I would agree. Oh, wait. We got one more.
Doesn't this just prove that James Cameron is really bad at history?
That James Cameron is really bad at history. James Cameron doesn't exist, woman. James Cameron is exclusively a pen name the government uses as a bad director to cover up their poor attempts to cover up their cover-ups. That's how it works.
And your proof this is what?
I'm getting there.
So my question is, supposedly he did this whole movie as a way to fund his explorations in the deep sea. What's he looking for down there as a representative of the government?
That's exactly right. What he's looking